Baseball, a sport built on tradition, skill, and strategy, has also been home to players pushing boundaries, like the creative and controversial art of bat tampering. For years, MLB has seen its fair share of scandals involving illegal bats, from corked bats that promise quicker swings to sneaky weight tweaks that defy the rules. Players have risked their careers for even the smallest advantage. In this video, we're taking a closer look at these illegal bats, how they work, why players use them, and the unforgettable scandals that shook the baseball world. Let's rewind to the mid-1800s, the Wild West of baseball. Back then, the game was still finding its way, and so were the rules. Players didn't show up with sleek uniform bats. Instead, they brought whatever they could find. Square sticks, wooden clubs, piano legs. Yes, piano legs. And even axe handles. It was less America's pastime and more who's got the weirdest weapon. This chaotic free-for-all quickly became a problem. Imagine trying to pitch to someone swinging a literal tree trunk or fielding a ball launched by a sharpened club. The unpredictability made the game wild, and let's be honest, a little dangerous. In 1857, the National Association of Baseball Players gathered to bring some order to the chaos. Among their discussions about competition rules and forming a players' union, they also decided it was time to regulate bats. The new rules were simple. Bats had to be round, made of wood, and couldn't exceed 2.5 inches in diameter at the thickest part. No more square sticks or random furniture parts. While the length was still open to interpretation, the days of piano leg bats were officially over. This was the first step toward making the game fairer and more competitive. A standard for bats allowed players to focus on their skills instead of intimidating opponents with bizarre wooden objects. Over time, the rules were refined. Committees added weight limits, capped the length, and even specified the types of wood that could be used. Each change was made to keep the game balanced between offense and defense while ensuring consistency. What makes a bat illegal? It's simple. According to MLB rules, the bat shall be one piece of solid wood. Straightforward, right? But that hasn't stopped players from testing the limits, or their luck. While players can use substances like pine tar on the outside to improve grip, tampering with the inside of a bat is strictly forbidden. But why would anyone want to hollow out a perfectly good bat? The answer is simple. To make it lighter, by removing some of the dense wood and replacing it with cork, sawdust, or even cheap bouncy balls, players can shave off a few ounces. A lighter bat allows for faster swings, which, in theory, means more power at the plate. One exception to the no tampering rule is pine tar, which can be applied up to 18 inches from the bat's handle to help with grip. But go beyond that, and it's a violation. Umpires can stop a hitter from using the bat, demand a replacement, or even call the hitter out if the ball has already been put in play. The concern is that excessive pine tar can make the baseball sticky, rendering it unusable. One of the most infamous incidents regarding pine tar happened in 1983, during a Yankees vs. Royals game. It's now simply known as the pine tar game. In the 9th inning, with 2 outs and the Royals trailing by a run, George Brett, already a superstar and former MVP, stepped to the plate. Yankees manager Billy Martin called on his Hall of Fame closer, Goose Gossage, to finish the game. Brett, who famously shunned batting gloves in favor of pine tar for grip, crushed a dramatic go-ahead home run. The Royals were up 5-4, and Brett celebrated, thinking he delivered the game-winning moment. But Billy Martin wasn't done. He approached the home plate umpire, Tim McClelland, pointing out the excessive pine tar on Brett's bat. With no ruler on hand, the umpires improvised. They laid the bat across home plate, which is 17 inches wide. The pine tar clearly exceeded the 18-inch limit. Brett was called out, the home run was nullified, and the Yankees celebrated an unexpected victory. What happened next has become iconic. Brett charged out of the dugout, furious and flailing his arms, unleashing one of the most iconic tirades ever seen on a baseball field. The incident sparked a heated debate, and the bat itself became the center of a league office controversy. Eventually, the Royals appealed, and the league overturned the decision, allowing the Royals to replay the inning from the moment of Brett's home run, and they ultimately won the game. In recent times, several players have been caught pushing the boundaries of what's legal, with corked bats taking center stage in some of MLB's most infamous scandals. Sammy Sosa's corked bat scandal, 2003. In the first inning of a 2003 game against the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, Sammy Sosa swung at a sharp 3-2 breaking ball from Jeremy Gonzalez. The bat shattered on contact, sending the ball dribbling to second base. But what looked like a routine play quickly turned into chaos when the umpire crew examined the broken bat and discovered cork where solid wood should have been. Sosa was ejected immediately. Concerned by the evidence, he admitted to using the corked bat but claimed it was a mistake. He claimed that he used corked bats during batting practice to entertain fans and had accidentally grabbed one for the game. MLB launched an investigation examining all of Sosa's bats. While no cork was found in the others, some skeptics, including Chicago Tribune reporter Paul Sullivan, noted that the Cubs had been given a 10-minute warning before investigators entered the locker room, enough time to hide any incriminating evidence. Whether or not corked bats actually help hit more home runs, MLB's stance is clear. They are illegal. Intentional or not, Sosa broke the rules. Combine this incident with allegations of performance-enhancing drug use, and many argue that his 609 career home runs deserves an asterisk. Ironically, the pitch that broke his bat was out of the strike zone. Had he taken the walk instead, he could have avoided the entire mess. Albert Bell's Batgate, 1994. The 1994 saga known as Batgate is one of baseball's wildest tales. During a game between the Cleveland Indians and Chicago White Sox manager Gene Lamond accused Albert Bell of using a corked bat. Umpires confiscated the bat, locking it in the umpire's room for inspection. Knowing the bat was illegal, the Indians hatched a desperate plan. Pitcher Jason Grimsley became the unlikely hero, or anti-hero. Armed with a flashlight, he climbed through the clubhouse ceiling, crawled to the umpire's room, and swapped Bell's bat with one belonging to teammate Paul Sorrento. The plan might have worked if not for one glaring mistake. The replacement bat bore Sorrento's name. The umpires quickly realized a switch had occurred. Things escalated to the point where the American League even considered involving the FBI. Ultimately, the Indians were told that if they provided Bell's original bat, there would be no punishment for the swap itself. Eventually, Bell's original bat was returned, and he received a 10-game suspension, later reduced to 7. To this day, Batgate remains one of the strangest scandals in MLB history. Chris Sabo and the Bouncy Ball Bat, 1996. Chris Sabo's 1996 incident was less scandalous and more comedic. During a game with the Cincinnati Reds, Sabo's bat cracked, spilling rubber bouncy balls onto the field. Sabo insisted the bat wasn't his, claiming he had grabbed it from a pile of old bats in the clubhouse. "I've never used a cork bat in the past, and I don't plan to," Sabo joked, adding, "If you look at my numbers, you'll know I'm not using one this year." MLB officials didn't share his sense of humor. He received a 7-game suspension, but the sight of bouncy balls bouncing across the infield is forever etched in the history of illegal bats. Illegal bats go beyond cork and tampering. For example, fungo bats, designed for hitting practice fly balls, are banned in games. Painted bats are also off-limits. MLB allows only 4 approved finishes, and any paint or decals make a bat unplayable. One lesser-known safety rule involves the prohibition of white bats. The rule committee determined that if a white bat were to strike a white ball and send it back toward the pitcher, it could create a serious visibility issue. This increases the risk of injury, particularly for the pitcher, who has only fractions of a second to react. Aluminium bats are also banned in MLB for several reasons. First, modern hitters can swing wooden bats just as quickly as metal ones, making lighter-weight metal or composite bats unnecessary for performance. Second, tradition plays a significant role. Baseball began with wooden bats, and the Rules Committee has consistently reaffirmed that MLB will always use wood to preserve the history and traditions of the game. Lastly, and most importantly, safety is the primary concern. Studies have shown that balls hit with metal or composite bats travel faster off the bat than those hit with wood. With pitchers standing only 60 feet 6 inches from home plate, a faster ball leaves them with far less time to react. Metal bats are prohibited to protect not only the pitchers, but also infielders and spectators to prevent on-field tragedies. To stop players from bending the rules of legality, MLB has implemented strict protocols for bat inspections. Before games, umpires and league officials can inspect bats for any signs of tampering, and suspicious bats, particularly those flagged during games, are confiscated for closer examination. The scrutiny doesn't stop there. Shattered bats during play are immediately checked for tampering, and MLB officials often conduct spot checks in locker rooms. These measures create a clear message: no player is above the rules, and cheating will not be tolerated. Beyond enforcement, MLB also emphasizes education to foster a culture of fair play. Players, particularly rookies, are briefed on equipment regulations during spring training, with an emphasis on the consequences of violations. Teams ensure their staff understands the rules, creating a culture of accountability. While it might sound strange that a professional sport wants to limit the speed at which the ball travels, baseball is one sport where the equipment can injure players, coaches, and even fans. By enforcing strict rules and sticking to tradition, MLB ensures the game remains safe, competitive, and enjoyable for everyone. Enjoyed uncovering the wild history of illegal bats and the quirky traditions that define baseball? Let us know in the comments. Hit like, subscribe, and join us for more captivating baseball stories, because we're just getting started. See you next time.